In this video, we'll be discussing Advanced Personal Training Assessment Task 2, Observation. The following units will be covered as part of this assessment task. This assessment task has a number of components. So first, you need to undertake a functional assessment. So this functional assessment should include movement screening, muscle activation, range of motion, and static posture assessment. So you should have done this in class already, so you'll be pretty familiar with this. To do this, you need to use a screening tool, ensuring that you accurately record results, use appropriate terminology, complete all assessments correctly, and stay within your skill set. So when using the movement screen, what you need to do is click here, and this will bring it up. So basically, you collect some information about your client to start with, then you're going to do a static posture assessment, and then a functional assessment, a dynamic functional assessment, which you would have been doing in your logbook. So that's got a number of components. So all components need to be completed. And you're looking at pushing, pulling, squat, lunge, rotate, and overhead press, as well as overhead pull. At the bottom of this also it says you will be educating your client about the issues established and approaches you will take to rectify the issue. So you're going to discuss with the client what you found and what you're going to do to rectify the findings from the functional assessment. Basically, you need to just provide a summary here of what you discussed with the client. Again, you should have covered this a number of times in your logbook, so you'll be pretty familiar with it. So if we go back to the assessment task, for part 2, again, provide feedback and education to your client. So this is where we're looking at that last box we discussed where you need to do a summary of the education you provided. But during this task, you'll be getting observed, so your trainer and assessor will be listening in to the information you provide to make sure it's accurate. You then need to develop an exercise program for the client. Now, the program needs to be based upon your findings from the functional assessment. So again, you don't want to have a program if you find that they're too strong in the chest anyway and they've got that forward-leaning posture. There's no point putting all chest exercise on your program. So your program needs to be specific to their needs. After you've written the program, you need to instruct the program to the client. So again, the program needs to be filled in on this VFA program template. The assessment will be an observation, so your trainer assessor will not only be asking you to submit the templates, but they'll also be watching you undertaking the assessment, the functional assessment, writing the program, but also taking the client through the program. So again, at the bottom of the page here, we've got a rubric. You need to make sure you read this carefully to ensure that you're covering off on all the requirements. So again, as you can see, there's some key points here, discussing causes of reduced function and poor posture. So that's that educational part, staying within your skill set. But it also mentions here that take video footage for feedback with the client. So as part of it, what we want to see is that you use video. So you take some video of the client's posture or their movement so you can actually show them on your phone how their movement's actually occurring. Because without that video footage, it can be very difficult for the client to understand what they're doing right or wrong. Okay, so again, that's just an example, but all these key points here, your trainer and assessor will be assessing you on when they watch you undertake the posture, function assessment, the education, writing the program, then taking the person through the program. So again, number of key elements to this assessment task. Like all assessment tasks, if you've got any concerns or you're not sure of anything, please speak to your trainer and assessor.